that someone would know that I need this, or assuming that they are going to behave in a certain way. So we're going to focus a lot today around how do we communicate and get clarity. Yeah? The second dot point there is to go from good to great. So this is already a good business. It's adopting those 5% that make the difference between good and great. Pretty much in my experience, it always relates to communication and relationships. Those 5% that make something great or average. Yeah. Improve communication between the team. So you may all function really well as a team, but there's always communication breakdowns between teams. You know, things that you might need, that you think that they know you want, but they don't. So we're going to have conversations around how you might do that. Build relationships within the team. So you guys all might function really well as a team. It's not, by doing this, we're not saying that you don't. It's just communication is something that we can always be better at. Learn and deepen your engagement with clients. So a little bit later on, I'm going to ask you what are your biggest issues that you face. And I imagine a lot of them are around managing clients. Would that be true? A fair assumption?
Yep.
Beryl and Donna, is that true for you guys as well?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear what was the final thing you said.
So I imagine that one of your biggest challenges is around managing relationships and the way you engage with clients.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah, so we're going to look at that as well and give you some support around that. And then the last point there is learning tools and strategies to manage stress. So does everyone have stress in their lives?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. So one of the distinctions I want to draw straight away is, you know, through an unconscious choice, we've put stress and busyness together. Stress is actually a choice that we make, not a conscious one. You know, none of us wake up in the morning thinking, great, can't wait to be stressed all day today. It's a pattern and a habit that we get into. It's an unconscious choice we make. We can be busy, but not stressed. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to look at some different things about that. So please stop me at any point when it doesn't make sense. The program is a layered process. So we're going to be catching up monthly for 6 months. Okay, there might be a part of you that wants to solve all your problems with relationships and communication today. We won't get there today. Okay? The other thing that I want to make sure that's really clear is, you know, in personal development, there is no there to get to. So at the end of the 6 months, you guys won't have your life sorted out. Yeah. Okay, with no problems, every relationship will be pumping along perfectly. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to give you some tools that you can keep using, because, you know, you'll find more relationships that trigger you, that do this, do that. So it's not about getting to a point. It's a process. It's educational and experiential. So it'll be a bit of me giving you information, but, you know, it's really about you guys, what you need, how it interacts with you. You know, I think one of the things I value the most is that Deb and Daniel really rate and value personal development. And they see the value in that in their lives, and that they're willing to do that for all the people that they come into, the people that work for them. You know, if we choose to keep growing, our life, you know, is alive. If we get stuck and think, well, this is what it is, I'm just going to do this, that's what we're going to end up with. So I really value that they value personal development. The last one, you'll feel uncomfortable, and that's normal. Okay, so we don't make changes without discomfort. Yeah? My model of working isn't to try and break you and, you know, push you to feel discomfort. My model is to present information And that may or may not challenge the way you think and what you believe. I encourage you to go into that discomfort. You know, if it feels challenging, just sit with it. Okay, you know, what is it that I'm feeling uncomfortable about? Sorry, also, Donna and Beryl, I'll get you a workbook sent to you. So everyone's got one here. It's not vital for today, so we don't use it very much in the sessions, but each session that we do, there's another chapter to add to it. And it's really for your resources. So you can look at it when you choose, and there's a lot of information in there.
Great, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll make sure that you get one of those each. So there's five keys that we're going to use. Today we're going to be talking mainly about a specific underlying framework that we're going to keep coming back to, and the values. So I want to have a discussion about what the values mean for you. Next session we're going to look at self-awareness. So that's really an ongoing process. We'll never wake up being completely aware. It's like an onion. There's always another layer. But hopefully I'll give you some tools that you can keep that process happening. Self-regulation is understanding that we always have a choice. How we show up is our choice. Yeah. It's easy to blame something or someone for how I feel. However, that's disempowering and it gives away my power. So what I'm saying, if I do that, that I can't feel good until you change. Yeah? So if I say you make me feel, or it makes me feel, hey, here's my power.
Yeah.
The situation or the person holds power over me. I can't change until they do. So what we're going to do in these sessions is bring it back to you. What change can you make that's going to change that relationship? Because that's all you can do, is make a change in yourself. If something's not working, you can change something in yourself, which will change the relationship. We may spend the rest of our life waiting for the other person to change otherwise. Connection. So all of us as humans are wired to connect. We do it in our personal lives, also our business life is about connection. Okay? What we're good sometimes at creating is the opposite, disconnection. Yeah, so we go into fear, we create, that disconnection, and we start blaming other people, other situations, whatever. Number 4 is purpose. So by the end of this, you will have, by the end of the whole process, you'll have a clear understanding of what your individual purpose is, okay? Which gives you a context to come back to. When you get frustrated or angry about something, you come back, what is it that I'm good at? I'll just do that. And the last one is, how do we integrate all of those things into our life? Great to talk about it, but how do we do it in our everyday life? Okay, so what I wanted to do as a starting point was to do a grounding exercise. We did one in the big group. So Beryl and Donna and everyone here, if you want to, you can take your shoes off. You've got your shoes off already? Now there's quite a few reasons that we do this. The first one is about presence. We get caught up in our blah blah in our head and spend a lot of time worrying about the future or beating ourselves or someone else up about the past. All that means is that we're not present. So if we're talking to a client or doing a piece of work and we're worrying about the future, beating ourselves up about the past, they notice that. Has everyone here been in the presence of someone who's not present? Oh, you said one.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're aware of their work life or whatever. I mean, we're on sales, so trying. All the time, and you know you're not winning. You're not winning, you know that. Okay, I'll have a look at lighting in that one.
Yeah.
Yep. So how does it feel when you're in the presence of someone who isn't present?
Lonely.
Lonely.
I would just say, are you with me? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah. Donna and Beryl, how does it feel for you when you're with someone who isn't present?
Not that I'm not very important.
That I'm not respected.
Sorry, just say that again.
I'm not respected.
Yes, absolutely. So you feel disrespected, unseen, unheard, disconnected, all that. Yeah. Has everyone been in the presence of someone who's very present?
Yep.
Yeah. So what's the difference? What's the difference in how you feel?
Feel engaged. Like you're connected. You're getting somewhere.
How they can work?
I feel like my person involvement.
Yes.
There's a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, in simple terms, you know, we're not sitting here wasting each other's time, it's our time. Sort of, you know.
Cool. How about ladies? Donna and Beryl, how do you feel when you're with someone who's present?
Oh, I think, yeah, that I feel that they're genuinely, interested in what you've got to say. You feel important. You feel respected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And valued, I think, is also there.
Sorry, just say that again, Beryl. Is that Beryl? Yeah. Yeah, I heard
Valued?
Donna. I didn't catch that, Beryl. So you feel valued.
Oh, okay, valued.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So I have a question for you guys. What percentage of the day would you say that you're present on a good day? 18? 80?
I was like maybe 10. Yeah. Like maybe 10.
Way less than, yeah.
You're talking with customers or?
Just in your everyday life, as you go about wherever you are, you're in that moment, not worrying about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Under 10%.
Yeah.
Like my reports at school always read, Mark is easily distracted.
Yeah. I'm sure that.
Yeah. So if I put something up on the board, can you guys? I'll just do it and let me know if you can see it.
What's the webcam like? Oh, let me just click it back on.
Can you see that?
No,
You guys
Can't see
yeah,
it. You need to
I can just see the.
Do you see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So what science tells us is about 20% present, which is 80% our subconscious or our unconscious. Okay? So that's important information because we've just had a discussion about being in the presence of people who aren't present or are present. So if we think about using our sense of empathy, being able to walk in another's shoes, imagine how it feels for those people in our life when we're not present. Probably the same. They feel unseen, unheard, disconnected. So there's something to think about. You know, the only thing we can change is how present we are. And if you think about it, our presence is actually the greatest gift that we can give anyone. It's all we actually really want from someone, is for them just to be present. Yep. So that's one of the reasons why we do this grounding exercise, because it helps us become more present. If we practice something like a grounding or a mindfulness process, our brain actually rewires and we see things from a different perspective. Okay? It takes a little time for that to happen, so it's not going to happen between today and tomorrow. It's a 3-month process. The other reason why we do a grounding is when we talk about our mind, and if we want to have access to all of our mind, that's our brain, heart, and gut. Okay? We've been taught that it's our brain. There's much more to it. It's our heart and our gut. If I'm not grounded, I don't have access to that. I only have access to my brain. And even then, just a small part of it. Okay? So that's another really important reason to be grounded and present. The other one is, over a day, we can take on a lot of energy, especially you guys. You're dealing with people. They might be angry, they might be upset about something, they might be this or that, or You take that energy on. The reality of it is, you then take it from one client to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. They feel that. So there's a really good argument to, in between each client, even if you've got 5 minutes, ground. Let go of that energy. The next person doesn't need to feel that. Okay? And it's not going to help you. Because they'll be feeling you going, oh, what's going on? Why is she stressed? Why is he stressed? And so there's a few different reasons why we do this grounding. So I'll get you just to have your both feet on the floor and find a spot to look at in front of you and see if you can keep your eyes open. What I want you to notice as we do this is how often your mind wanders. Okay? When it wanders, all I want you to do is bring it back. I don't want you to judge yourself about it, beat yourself up, just bring it back and focus on what it is that we're talking about. So start off with 4 or 5 deep breaths. So just breathing. As you breathe, just notice the air coming into your body, and air going out. Notice the quality of your breath. As your mind wanders, bring it back. Probably wandered a couple of times already. It's normal, just bring it back, focusing on your breath. So then bringing your attention down to your feet. Notice how your feet feel on the ground. Then bringing your awareness up into your lower legs. If there's any stress or tension in that part of your leg and your legs, just letting it go. So using your mind to let go of any stress or tension you've got in your body. It can be as simple as choosing to let it go. You might visualize it, letting go, however you want to do it. Just let go of that energy and stress. As your mind wanders, bring it back. Coming up into your thighs, noticing how your thighs feel. If there's any stress or tension, just letting it go down your legs, out through your feet, into the ground. Coming up into your pelvis. This is an area you can hold lots of tension, front and back. Noticing if there's any stress or tension there, and then just letting it go. Stomach. If you worry a lot, this is an area that will show up in the stomach. Just noticing what's there, what's true, and then if there's worry or tension there, letting it go. As your mind wanders, just bring it back. Checking in on your upper body now, your shoulders, neck. You might move your shoulders and your neck around a bit. Just notice the tension that sits there. This is another area we hold lots of tension. Choosing just to let it go down into your feet, into the ground.
Hi. Sorry, I was kicked off the internet for some reason. Back now.
You all right, Beryl? We're still in the grounding.
Is anyone? Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
Right.
So just bring your attention, everyone, now back to your feet. Notice how your feet feel now compared to when we started. Anyone's feet feel any different? Tingly? Yeah. And how do you guys feel now compared to when we started? Does anyone feel any different internally? Relaxed? Yeah? Ladies online, how do you feel?
Yeah, relaxed, more relaxed.
Okay, awesome. So what I want to reflect to you is
And I did.
your life. You back, Carol?
Yes, I'm back. I missed the whole grounding exercise, but I remember it from before Christmas.
Okay, and what I'll do is I might send you a audio of it.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. So what I want to reflect to you guys is your world outside is still happening. All the things are still going on. All you just did is choose a different state. That's available to you at any point of any time. It took us about 5 minutes to do that. Yeah. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. The easier and faster you can do it. So I'd encourage you to put in your diary a reminder on your phone, am I grounded? Remembering that the key reasons are your presence is the greatest gift that you can give. If you're not grounded, you're not present. Yeah. You know how other people feel because you know how you feel if you're not grounded, if people aren't grounded. Second thing is you want to have access to your brain, your heart, and your gut. Not just a small part of your brain. We're cheating ourselves if we're not fully grounded, accessing our heart and gut as well. Okay. So, what I wanted to do, there's another O there. For you guys who've got the workbook, just on, I think it's page 6, and for Donna and Beryl, okay, it's the next one, I think, or the one before, maybe 5. Yeah, that's it. Read from got space, right. So what I want you to take just a couple of minutes to do is to just write down what are your biggest challenges that you face with relationships and communication. Okay, so it might be with your clients, might be within your team, and I encourage you to be courageous. Because even sometimes when we start thinking about the challenges that we have, we might start feeling a bit shameful about that. Oh, I shouldn't have these problems, or I can't really talk about that. This is the place to talk about it. Okay, so any problem needs, first thing is awareness of the issue. So just take a couple of minutes to write down the issues that you face in your daily life. Is it right?
No.
So, Donna and Beryl, you have
yes, so not just
Hello?
in work, like, so the challenges is not just at work, like just in general as well. Communication.
Oh, look, so is that Donna?
Yes.
Yep. So you bring up a good point. So there's a distinction that I want to make from the very beginning. We show up we're exactly the same person in our personal life and our work life. And normally we have the same issues with relationships and communication. Okay? So absolutely. If they're in your personal life, professional life, whatever, you don't have to share names or specifics, but what are the actual issues that you've got? Sounds like a racetrack. Are one of you next to a racetrack?
That's definitely not me. I'm on a farm.
And I'm on a farm, so no, not me.
Oh, that's funny. So maybe just take another minute or two. Alrighty. Has everyone got a few things down there? There's normally no shortage once we start.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, so what I'd like to do is share. So everyone, because there's a lot of learning to be done about different people, and they might be the same as yours. It might prompt some difference. So who'd like to share what their specific communication and relationship issues are first?
Dealing with somebody that's unhappy or angry in particular, a client or it could be either, yeah.
So what do you typically do now?
I guess, go into defense mode. You know, I think they may be angry at me, you know, rather than the situation, or, you know, it could be a client's in, or it could be a business owner, or it, you know, it can be personally as well. But I guess I start defending, you know.
Yeah. So does anyone else fall into that?
Yeah.
Yep. No. So we go into that defensive mode. So I think, you know, Donna, that's a normal piece of normal human behaviour.
Blaming others?
Sure. And, you know, often we think if someone's angry or frustrated, it's about me.
Yeah.
So then we start a story up, what have I done? And pretty quickly we find a whole bunch of stuff that we've done to convince ourselves that we're bad and wrong. And then we have enough of that, so then we start making them bad or wrong. So it's all normal human behaviour. So one of the things, you know, that we can reflect on, what is it? So if you think about it, if you're angry or frustrated, what is it that you need in that moment?
Someone to listen to you.
Yeah, so that's the,
Exactly, and acknowledge. Yeah. So when we go into defence, what we're saying to that person is you're wrong. Your story is not true. Or I'm not willing to acknowledge you. So it's normal that they arc up even more. So again, if we use our sense of empathy, what is it that I would think if none of us like to know that our story is wrong? Yes. So something as simple as, I understand how frustrating that must be for you. I get that. I fully get that. Yeah. You've acknowledged what they're feeling. You're not saying to them, stop being frustrated.
yeah.
That's like adding petrol to the fire.
I think to add on from that, one of the issues that, or challenges I face is having this break to have honest conversations without that fear of that. Because even though, like today, we were at a meeting and a lady expressed an issue, and I was like, yeah, I totally get what's going on, I'm frustrated as well. We're on to a situation to resolve that. But I think sometimes I hold myself back from getting involved in their story as well. And then I've got a fear about it in going, well, if I speak my truth, am I hurting?
So when you say speak your truth, what that looks like for this particular...
That situation, I think in the fact, well, it was something that was completely out of our control, with an order being late. But apparently it's happened many times before. But also as well, a part of me was there going, well, when were you ordering these? Were you ordering these at certain times where our class, like, we're not going to be able to process these orders? I just kind of bite my tongue on some of those conversations sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I also think picky battles.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. What other problems?
I probably wrote something similar. Like I always overthink what people like, what they actually think about myself, and then I do it. I just do everything. Like whereas I need to learn to, be honest.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
But
what?
again, I'm overthinking.
Sure. So what happens then when you do everything to please everyone?
You
You
feel
start-
like you just get pleased.
Yeah, you start feeling resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you quickly turn to,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't believe all the things I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
Relate.
Sure. Can anyone else relate to that? Beryl and Donna, can you relate to that?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Yeah. Again, normal human behaviour. Yeah, how about you?
My biggest issue probably is, high expectation on others. I expect them to do that, or they can do that, and then end up, no, they didn't. So get frustrated. Yeah. I think it's an expectation.
Yeah.
Even though like relationships very common with passion or a very intimate relationship, you expect him or her to do this and that, but end up you feel disappointed.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. So, what we're talking about here, in any relationship that's got some tension, is misaligned expectations. Often unspoken expectations. Yeah. So we might not have even said or been clear of what our expectations are for whatever reason. So we were in the meeting yesterday, there was a great discussion about the possibility of, when engaging clients, having just a one-pager of expectations and based on the values of the business. So saying, these are the 5 things you can expect from us. We also expect them from you. And having the conversation. There's a whole lot of stuff when we engage with people, we think, oh, they'll be like that. Surely they'll do that. They must know that we need that. There's all these things, assumption and expectation. So the thing that we need to remember is that, we can press a reset on any relationship at any point in time. And all we need to do is acknowledge what's true. So if you have a relationship with a client that's a bit fractured or a bit tense, you can set a reset. What I've noticed is our relationship is a bit tense. There's a bit of friction. Let's sit down and work out what our expectations are of each other. Because it feels like we're not aligned. It can be that simple. What we like to do is go into our stories. I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. They're bad, they're bad, they're bad, they're bad. It's like you're having ping pong. All the time, we're not actually getting to the point, which is we've got misaligned expectations. How about we sit down and have a chat about that?
So are you saying that, physically say that?
Absolutely. Because if you're feeling it, they are.
I might say it.
I use your own
words.
Yeah. But it's pretty much just acknowledging what's true. Yeah. We go into this, well, how are we going to fix it? What are we going to do? We still haven't asked them, what are your expectations? And we still haven't said to them, these are our expectations. Does that make sense? Donna and Beryl, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Yeah. So do you guys have some relationships that, there's a bit of tension, a bit of friction?
So I hate people to say that.
That they're busy?
Because it sounds like their time is then I will sort of like my button is switched on, and I would say, my time is precious too. I would just fight back. It's very awful.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, of course, I would calm down. But then I feel like, I think nowadays everybody is busy. You cannot just say you are busy or you are a doctor, you are who someone, and then if your time is very expensive and my time is worth nothing.
Yeah.
I, again, conversation very much.
Yeah, so it's not, so what I'm hearing there is each of you have needs. It's not saying one person's needs are more important than another.
Yeah.
Any other, Mark, did you have anything specific?
I wrote down here, and it's probably can relate to colleagues and or clients, getting on the same page with the sort sort of spoken about. In my head, you know, what I'm trying to get out of either, whether it's a colleague or a client.
Yep.
I think you sort of spoke about it, but, you know, are we all on the same page here with what we're thinking about? And often, it's probably not the case. Yeah. What did you say? Expectations
And assumptions.
yeah. It kind of summed it up, really.
Yeah. We live in a world of expectations and assumptions.
To me, a lot of things are common sense, but
And
not everyone's got common sense. I suppose in some ways, it's probably give it a go, I don't know, but
yeah.
expectations and assumptions.
So there's three phrases that I have spoken to everyone about, and everyone hopefully will be starting to use them. The first one is, this is what I need. Second one is, what is it that you need? Third one is, I'm here to support you. This is what I need. What do you need? I'm here to support you. Okay? That brings us out of expectations and assumptions. They're pretty simple phrases, but there's a lot to them. Who finds it easy to ask for what they need?
Not me.
Not me.
Awesome.
I cringe at it.
Sure. What's the belief around it? Do you know?
No. Did I get no?
That you'll get no?
Push back.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I couldn't get one on one.
So why would I even ask?
Yeah, why don't you bother asking?
How about everyone else? What that you won't get it?
Yeah, I'm very sure. Like, you don't want to make kind of shut down and just,
Yeah.
Have to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the resentment builds.
Yeah.
Frustration builds. Ladies online. Do you mind if I call you ladies online? Sorry, that sounds awful. I won't call you ladies. I'll call you Donna. Sorry.
Barrow and Donna.
No, yeah. And what stops you ladies from asking for what you need?
I think because I'm unsure of their response. You know,
Yeah, and I think for me it's the possibility that I won't get what I've asked for, and then I'll be hurt.
Sure. Yeah. So these are all really common beliefs around asking for what we need. Yeah. Another one is, well, you know, if someone asks me for what they need, that means I'll have to give them something, which means I lose. I've lost something. So we can see needs pretty much sometimes as a win-lose. Someone wins, someone loses. So with these three phrases, what we're trying to do is change that dynamic. What we're saying is, I'm human, I have needs. I see that you are too, and you have needs. How can we do this together? Yeah. The other reason, I guess, the classic one for not asking for what we need is you should already know what I need, and when did you lose your ability to read my mind? Yeah. That's a pretty standard one. So the only thing we don't get when we don't ask for what we need is clarity. And frustration, anger, resentment build. Okay? We can be sure of that. If we don't ask for what we need, we will create the opposite. So if I need clarity and I don't ask for it, I'm going to create confusion. If I need connection and don't ask for it, I'm going to create disconnection. If I need support and don't ask for it, I'm going to create a lack of support. The only thing that happens when we ask for what we need is we get clarity. Yeah? So if someone, for example, if I say to Mark, hey Mark, you know, this is what I need, are you willing to do that? He says, no, I can't. I'm clear. We're now clear about he can't do that. Awesome. Now where do I go? Where else can I go to do that? And so it's just the next step of clarity. So the fear actually stops us getting clear. Because we may sense that, you know, for example, in sales, you may have a pretty clear sense that it's going to be a no. Yet you keep going, you keep going, you're pretty sure that it's going to be a no. You can waste how much time? A lot. Yeah, all the time knowing that it's going to be no. So what you needed was clarity around no.
Yeah.
Rather than push. And then you get to the end and you went, well, I knew that was going to happen.
Actually get on the front foot then. So I'm in the furniture part.
Yep.
And a gaming chair basically pricing starts at $500. They go up from there.
Yeah.
So if I get a call out of the blue or I'm talking to someone at a gaming show or something, I actually say to them, our starting price is $500. And then I actually get a lot of trial, mate, that's out of our budget thing. So at least they know, and they're not wasting your time and vice versa. I didn't initially, I sort of skirted around, I thought, geez, I'm wasting some time here. So now I just tell people, our starting price is $500. Oh, that's okay. Okay, beautiful. Now we're at half a chance, you know.
You're clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a process that each of you have around how you sell and do all that. What I'd encourage you to do is get to the no as fast as you can.
Yeah.
If it's a no, get to it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's a waste of your time. You know, you've got plenty of other people to follow up. You know, I'm not suggesting at all that you go in and go, hey, do you want to buy this? And they go, no, well, I'm not sure. And you go, okay, see you later. No. Follow your process, follow all of those things, but if it feels like it's a no, then, you know, that's okay. It's okay. So let's just, if we just backtrack to needs. So I really want to press this home. You know, all that happens when we ask what we need is we get clear. Even if someone says no. In fact, if someone says no, we're clear. Awesome. That's not going to happen. I need to find that somewhere else or go looking somewhere else. They didn't say to me, no, I'm not giving it to you because you're terrible. That's the story we make.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
They just said to me, no, I can't. Whatever story you make up about what they're thinking is your story. And we spend a lot of time thinking about what people think about it. Is this all making sense?
Yep.
Awesome. So were there any other things that we haven't, so far as problems and issues go, any other things we haven't spoken about on that people would like to raise?
It's an interesting point what you just said. Someone else can think about that. Is you do think a lot. You do spend a lot of time thinking what people think about you.
Oh yeah.
You do. I do.
Absolutely. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's a complete waste of time.
Because if I'm really thinking about it, do I really think about them? It's probably the opposite. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no, you do, don't you?
It's interesting.
I heard a great saying once, what other people think about you is none of your business.
Yeah.
You can't change it anyway. You know, you could do a million things and they might still think the same.
Yeah.
Just because they've got their view of you. It doesn't matter. That's their story, not yours. So what I wanted to do, because, you know, there's one thing that keeps us in this space and out of being present. And I want to just put this framework up. So, and we're going to keep coming back to it. I put it up when we were talking. Oh, no, let's do this first.
Oh, okay, I can put the video on.
No, awesome. So I just want to run through what happens in our brain when we're not present and we go into fear. Okay? So we're going to use the triune brain model. I'm going to use my model. Can you guys see my hand?
Yes, I can. I think Donna's offline at the moment.
Yeah, she had to go to a meeting. Maybe?
Okay.
She? So Donna, how did you get this to see?
Beryl said you can see.
Oh, she can see?
Yeah. So I'm going to use my hand as a model.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, you can see? Okay.
Okay, so this, my wrist, is the brain stem, or the reptilian part of our brain. Okay? This is an awesome part of our brain. It's meant to keep us alive. So it runs a lot of the things that we don't have to think about. It also, if we're faced with imminent physical danger, gives us a cortisol, adrenaline hit, and we can get out of there. So, for an example, if there's a tiger in the room, we get up, run away, or fight the tiger. Yeah. This is meant to come on when there's imminent physical danger. So there's a threat to our life. For most of us, this comes on as soon as we open our eyes in the morning. Because we start worrying. Oh, I've got this meeting, this client, blah, 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 blah. Before we even get out of bed, there can be an imaginary tiger next to the bed. Little baby one. By the time lunch comes around, we've been worrying all day about stuff. There's a medium-sized tiger next to it. By the time we're driving home, there's one sitting in the back seat, a full-grown tiger that's just about to jump on there. Our body and brain don't distinguish between a real one and an imaginary one. It's the same reaction. Cortisol, adrenaline. Our bodies aren't meant to handle that. This is meant for every now and again, when literally there's something going to attack us. Yeah? So that's that part of the brain, the lizard brain. My thumb, the middle bit, limbic brain, is our emotional makeup. So emotional intelligence is very popular now. There's a good reason for it. We've discovered that, you know, if we don't have clarity around the feelings and emotions in our body, they run the show. This limbic system and the reptilian system, they love playing together. So if we get frustrated, they just feed off each other. It creates more frustration, more anger, and more disconnect. Yeah? So this is our mammalian brain. So it's really important. Science tells us even if we name an emotion, it dissipates. So if we say, I'm frustrated about X, we're less frustrated. If we say, I'm worried about X, we're less worried. If we don't, it just keeps going. Story gets bigger, feeling gets bigger, story gets bigger. Yeah? Over the top, we've got the neocortex. So that's our ability to imagine a future, solve problems, solve clients' problems, you know, think creatively. The problem when we go into stress or fear, this part of our brain is gone. It disappears. We don't have access to the part of our brain we need, the bit that's going to solve the problem. We go into what I call our 5-year-old lizard brain. And if there was a phrase for this part of our brain, it would be, this is just what I've always done. It's just what I've always done. Okay? So that's pretty common. I work in, you know, lots of different places with lots of different people. And I'll do something and I go, oh, why do you do that? Oh, it's what we've always done. Does it work? No, not really. It's just what we've always done. That's this part of our brain. We're just doing what we've always done. Yeah? So if we get grounded, this part of our brain comes back, we connect to our heart and we connect to our gut. So this is where the action is. All of us, not just the 5-year-old with the brain. So I, ask you guys to become aware when you go into your 5-year-old wizard. I know for myself, if I'm in that place, I'm not really going to get what I want. Because it's now a battle. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. And if I have anything to do with it, it's going to be them who lose. Yeah. So we all get into that in our personal relationships, business ones. Any questions about that? Does that help understand what goes on in our brains? Mark, are you all right?
Yeah, I think I was just out there. Yeah, you can see me. I know what I was thinking about.
Awesome.
Bring it back.
I'm back.
So what I want to do is just finish putting up this framework. So the one thing that keeps us out of being present is fear. Okay? So there's our normal good sense of fear, which is if there's a tiger chasing us. We need this to kick in. Yeah? I want to stress that fear isn't good or bad or right or wrong. It's just what we do. Okay? It's hard for us because sometimes we get so used to it, we don't even know that we're feeling it. Anxiety, frustration, anger. We can carry that for a long time and not even know. So we're going to talk about the roles we go into. Victim, rescuer, persecutor. None of these are bad. None of them are wrong. It's just what we do. Okay? Now, even...
Sorry, can you just...
Sorry, go ahead.
So, can you just tell me what you've written below fear? I can't see it.
Below fear.
Yeah, the triangle, so victim, rescuer, and persecutor.
All right, yep.
Yeah.
That's zoom in.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
None of these are bad, none of them are wrong. In the issues that you spoke about, that you have, you actually all spoke about one or more of these roles. Yeah. Well, so, for example, one where we're trying to rescue a client. Yeah. They're behaving in a certain way. We think, oh my God, I've got to do everything I can for them. Resentment starts to build. We jump over here, then we want to kill them. And then we go home at night going, why is this always happening to me? Then we wake up and do it all again. Yeah. So one distinction I want to draw, rescuing and supporting are two different things. So rescuing is me trying to work out what it is you need and thinking that I know what you need. Supporting is me asking you, what do you need? I'm here to support you. What is it that you need? So there's two different things. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're going to look as the process goes on in more detail of this, but I just want to get it up there. One thing for sure that happens when we go into this is blame. So this relationship becomes about blame. No one's going to take responsibility for it. The victim blames the rescuer, the victim blames the rescuer, the rescuer blames the persecutor, and we all blame each other. So no one says actually, what's my part in this? And it's reactive. So it's just what we've always done. We don't even know we're doing it before. We're aware of it. What I want you guys to start thinking about is awareness. So just start to become aware when you do things. Don't judge yourself for doing this, just notice it. If you judge yourself, you're in here again. But just notice it. When do I go into my victim? When do I go into my rescuer? When do I go into my persecutor? And most importantly, ask yourself the question, what is it that I actually need? Because the one thing no one in that talks about is what they need. We all have expectations about what you should be giving me, or what you should know about me. Okay? Does that make sense? So when you find yourself in this place, have a think, what do I actually need? We're going to unpack that whole need conversation further down the track. But I just want you to start becoming aware of it. You know, when you go into your restaurant, or you hold on a second. Am I clear about what I need? And have I asked myself a question? 3 core beliefs that drive this. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'll be betrayed. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'll be betrayed. Someone's about to screw me over. I'm not worthy translates into I don't deserve it. I'm not lovable. Even though I want this, I know I really don't deserve it. We set goals and we immediately start talking ourselves out of it. Because surely they're that. Well, I couldn't do that. I'm not enough. We learn that from a young age. You'll be better when. To turn on the telly, you're told that all the time. You'll be better when you got this car, this house, this, whatever. The problem is, the beliefs aren't the problem. The problem is we start believing them. We start thinking that they're true. So a good example of this, it's a funny one, but it's a true one, or might be true. So, you know, imagine yourself in the situation, Deb or Dan come in and they say, hey, can we catch up to Salvo?
Kick yourself.
Sure. What do you start thinking? What have I done?
What have I done? Yeah.
Yes. Donna and Beryl, what do you guys start thinking? Or what would you start thinking if someone, you know, in some authority said to you, oh, can we catch up?
I wouldn't think it was very good.
Yep.
Put in Brock's back.
Didn't he die?
Maybe something. Yeah.
Sorry?
Happened. I don't know. Maybe
Sure.
I'd think something happened with one of my clinics. You know, that they've phoned up and complained or something.
Sure. So we immediately think the worst. And pretty much within, you know, a couple of minutes, we will have pieced together a story of all the bad things that they could possibly be wanting to talk to me about. And we'll make a pretty coherent story pretty quickly because we find evidence. We don't even need it to be true. We just find evidence. Put it all together and go, oh yeah, I am crap. I am terrible. I am awful. So you might get to the point, you know, midday, you might start thinking, well, that's it, it's done. I might just have a quick look on, see what's going on. And then, you know, in the afternoon, you might think, oh, God, if I sneak out, they might not even know I'm gone. Well, that's it. And, you know, go, thanks for all the extra work you put in. We really appreciate it. Just wanted to say thank you. You've spent a whole day in fear. Or, you know, translate that. A client rings up, oh, we need to have a talk. Can we have a talk this afternoon? Immediately you think, what have I done? So we spend so much time in these stories. They are so strong enough. What you can be sure of, if you have that, if you fall into that belief, you will find evidence. So this is the glass half empty. Okay? If we think about what's the glass, it's a glass with water in it. Some of us look at it and go, yeah, it's half full. Some of us look at it and go, yeah, it's half empty. I can't convince you that it's half full if you think it's half empty, because you've got all the evidence you need to say that it's half empty. We do the same thing. We find evidence, not based on reality. Okay? Which just keeps us spiraling further into fear. So, again, what I hope for you guys is awareness. That you can start to have awareness. Oh, okay, there goes that story. Again. Is it true? Probably not. Is it based on anything real? Probably not. You know, when was the last time anyone said to you, you're not enough? Anyone think of a time?
Dan and Deborah, if they said that to me, I'd be like, mate, they go, oh, I'll get it from.
Sure.
Or, but they have to be that way.
Sure. So, you know, what one of your needs is clarity. Because knowing what your process is, you don't want to spend the whole day.
No, I know what I'd be like, so I would say, mate, you're going to
Awesome. You've asked for what you need. Yeah. So again, it just comes back to asking for what we need. You know, is there a problem? Is there anything I need to sort out? Oh, no, just have a quick chat. Oh, that one sentence has changed my whole day. Sure, but you might not get to the point of, you know, freeze.
I never know.
And that's the key to it. It's all about what's going on in here. It's not about what's happening. It's my story. So the most important thing to remember with this is we don't even know we're doing this most of the time. None of us wake up thinking, oh, fantastic, I can't wait to do this. It's our subconscious. We're not even aware of it. We just do it. If you're unsure, on your way home today, just notice what stories am I telling myself? Am I saying to myself, I'm awesome, I'm a great dad, great partner, great at what I do? Am I saying that? Or am I saying, I'm really crap, no, I'm really, no. Yeah.
I don't know everyone else, I never put a positive spin on it. I don't know, you got
This is out of the box. For no reason. It's just what we've got in the instinct. It's just a habit. There's no evolutionary reason for us to do it. If you walk outside now, there aren't tigers running up and down the street. Yet the way we behave is as though they were. So we haven't made the evolutionary leap from being in a physical threat to, well, things are actually pretty safe. That's a choice we're making here, not out there. So opposites of fear is love. So in love we put I choose, I create the whole of my reality. I choose, I create the whole of my reality. I choose, I create the whole of my reality. So I'm curious, what do you guys think and feel when you see that and hear that? I choose, I create the whole of my reality.
I think I know it, but I don't believe it or implement it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear it and you know it, but you're like, I don't put that into action every day.
Yep.
I know it by the law of attraction. I'm a magnet. So I know if if I keep saying that I'm not enough, I will prove to myself then I'm not enough, and then the reality will appear. So that's why I will remind myself, oh, I'm very good, I'm good, and then I know I will be good at it.
Yeah. Mark, how about you?
It's probably true. But I'm usually, you know, bagging myself.
Sure, which is what we've read.
Yeah.
Donna and Beryl, how about you? When you hear I choose, I create the whole of my reality.
Yeah, I think
Sounds too
similar
good
to
to be
Chris. Yeah, I think I know it, or you know that you've heard that, but then when it comes into reality, I'm slipped back into my old ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any thoughts about that? Yeah. So the thing for us to remember is that's true. And the bit we need to own is this bit. No one else is creating that. My life, I am. And it's all a story. It's all just a story. If I sit worried about whether a client likes me or blah, 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 what I'm going to do, that's the story. And we waste so much time in these stories that have actually no bearing on, or they have a huge bearing. But this is the key bit to know. We are creating this. No one else is creating this. The tendency will be to blame someone for it. Then we go, oh, yeah, I only create this bit. That's their fault. Yeah. The other thing I want to be really clear about, love is not, oh, whatever is happening is okay, and we've just got to go flow, and it'll be all right. Love is boundary. What is okay? In this context of the business, so okay? That's where it's really important to set those boundaries. This is what you can expect from us. These things. Are we going to be able to do it all the time? No, but we're striving to do it. So that's what values actually survey are the boundaries. This is what. Are there any thoughts or questions about that? Or reflections of how that happens in your life?
Maybe you want to say is stuff that's beyond your what
Control?
beyond your control. Yeah, just about 1 second away. That sort of creep into that. Like where do you?
So the one thing we can control, so life is like that. Yeah. The one thing we can control is my response. Is what happens. Sure, I may or may not. No. If we look at the level that we're talking about, you know, when we're talking about reality at this point, we're talking about my feelings, how I feel. An event, if you think about the event, is actually neutral. I give it meaning through my belief. Any event is neutral. Unless it's, you know, physical, emotional abuse, that's exactly when we want this part of us to kick in. So I'm not saying, you know, oh, physical abuse is happening, that's neutral. No. Get out of there.
Yeah.
But in our interactions, it's all neutral. We give it meaning. Just as we did, you know, with that example of Daniel saying, hey, can we catch up? Yeah. We gave that meaning. which had nothing to do with his meeting.
Yeah.
We do it for everything. We do it for every moment of every day. We want to give it meaning. The question we need to ask ourselves is what meaning? So what meaning do I want to give this, as opposed to what am I just normally used to giving it, which is fear-based. Yeah. So we might take a 10, 15-minute break. Everyone looks like they're ready for a coffee or a bit of sugar. Is it okay, Donna and Beryl, to take just a quick break?
Yes, I have a meeting in 20 minutes, which will be 3 o'clock your time.
Okay.
So I will, yeah.
What we might
but
do,
if I, yep.
given that's the case, is everyone okay just to go for another 20 minutes? Yeah. And then we'll have like a 10-minute break?
Yeah.
Because it feels like it'd be good to use the time that Donna's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you guys have any questions or thoughts about that setup? We're going to be using that pretty much the whole way through the process. So I'll, ask you to become more and more aware of that.
I've got a question for Donna.
Yeah.
Donna, do you have any fears
Yes.
going into your meeting? Do you have any fears going into your meeting, Donna?
Do I have any what going into my meeting?
Do you have any fears going into your meeting? Fears?
Yes, I do. I do. Yep, I've got quite a few. This is I would have moved the meeting, only I'm taking over Townsville Clinics now. So this is my first meeting, which was already scheduled with Sarah. So this is my first meeting with this lady that I'm taking over, helping to manage her account. And I've never met her face to face, so it's a phone meeting. So and then, I also have been given like a little update on her, which are good and bad things. So my story has already started.
Is that Mel?
Yes, yep, that's her.
So, do you mind if we use this as an example, Donna?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so what is it that you need from the meeting?
I would like to know her clinic goals, where she would like, her business to go in 2018, and her staff, and what training that they feel that they need. And what I would like is, I would like to set a date to go and visit them for a face-to-face and a training date, and some dates for the year for their promo days and meetings.
Awesome. So do you think you'd be able to ask for those things?
Yes.
They need for tasks.
Yes.
What's that?
Yep. Go ahead.
But are they needs or tasks? Because I would take, what I would take is like if you're wanting something from Mel, the way I would see would be, do you want her to like you?
Yeah, well, I guess, that's my number one, is I want her to like me. Yeah, true.
Which she will. She'll love you.
So I guess one of the things I heard is that what you're needing is begin to create a connection.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of value in doing exactly what you've just done, which is getting clear about what it is you need, and actually at the start of the meeting stating that. So, my underlying need is for us to start to build a connection.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to get out of today is da 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 da, and then ask her.
Yeah, I was going
What
to
do
say,
you
when
think?
do I ask her? Because I don't want to force all this on her without her having her say, you know, like being the listener. So do I say that first? Like, these are the things I'd like to get out of the meeting, and then ask her what would she like?
I mean, I would do whichever feels most comfortable for you.
Okay.
If she's not used to that, she might need a bit of modelling around it, so it might be useful for you to take her through that.
Yep.
And then, you know, once you've listed what you need, then say to her, well, how about you? What would you like us, what would you like to, what's your underlying need first? And then what things should we cover off?
Yeah.
So I guess what you've just said to her is those three phrases. This is what I need. What is it that you need? I'm here to support you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's recognising no matter what the story with Mel is, that, you know, this is an opportunity for you to press the reset button, whatever the story is. And for you to try and go in there as cleanly and clearly as you can.
Yeah.
And just stick with what you need.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how does that feel now? Better?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Awesome. And, you know, don't forget that her needs and your needs aren't mutually exclusive.
Yes. Yeah.
So even if there's something that feels like they're a bit at odds, I would say, well, okay, let's work out how we're going to do that, if there's a way to do that.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad we had a live example right there.
Yeah.
So does that make sense? Pretty much that was, this is what I need.
Yeah.
What do you need? How do we do this? Yeah. And it's not only at the beginning of a relationship that you can do that. You can do it at any point. So if you notice that there's tension or friction, oh, it feels like there's tension. And we're not aligned.
Yeah, I think I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I am more comfortable in a face-to-face meeting.
Right.
With someone I don't know. You know, I'm probably more uncomfortable having a meeting like this over the phone with somebody that you've never met face-to-face.
Sure. So maybe you can present that as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong or bad about that. It's just what's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this feels a little bit uncomfortable having a first or
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, she may feel the same, that, you know, she has a new account manager now that she's never met and we're having a phone meeting.
Exactly. So what you're doing is showing up authentically and inviting her to connect. Because you're absolutely right. If you say, oh, look, this, you know, feels a bit odd, a bit uncomfortable, she might say, yeah, I feel that too. You guys have connected. You've got something in common.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's not so awkward and uncomfortable. That's gone. Because you're connected. So there's real value in showing up, and that's another thing, especially for you guys. You know, there's such value in showing up authentically. So when someone asks you how you're feeling or how you're going, there's a choice point. Do I say what's true, or do I put on a mask? If I put on a mask, two things are going to happen. what they feel and what they hear is going to be different. That's the first point of trust. As humans, that's what we do. It's unconscious. So if I say to you, you know, how are you going? And you say, yeah, I'm good. And you're feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
I feel that. So what you're saying to me and what I feel is different. Oh, okay, there's something going on. I'll start making up a story in my head about you. Oh, their products, feel that good, blah, 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 blah. It's all just happening in the background. So if you're feeling frustrated, you don't need to tell me the whole story about you feeling frustrated. Oh, look, today's been really frustrating for some reason. Just can't seem to get on top of it. Oh, okay, yeah. What I hear and what I feel are the same. There's trust.
Yeah.
There's trust. So, you know, really remember that. It might go against all of your sales training where you show up with the mask and go, yeah, I'm great.
Always great.
How are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they can't. Oh, no.
People, sorry, I thought I'd seen that. People feel that. And it's where trust can be built or broken. It's not saying it's broken forever, but it's another step you have to take to rebuild the trust. So there's an opportunity for you to show up in all your authenticity, Donna.
Yes.
All your awesomeness.
Yep.
You know, remember, whether or not it's a business or personal, the whole reason that anyone's doing any of this is to connect. What we want is connection. In business, same in business or personal life. We do this to connect with people. It's what we long for. So every opportunity is the opportunity to connect. I'll be curious to see how it goes.
Report back on it.
If it's
So the other
if
thing-
it's only a 30-minute
Sorry,
meeting, if she's, I'm not sure how much time she's allowed, but if it's only a 30-minute meeting, I'll be able to come back in.
Yes, yeah. We may get
An update.
a debrief. Yes.
Yeah.
So just before you go, what I want to do is just talk about, does everyone know the values? Oh, I'll just put them up. Further, other way, yeah. A bit further up. So we're going to spend a lot of time on these as we go through the process. Yeah. Donna and Beryl, I'll get you cards, and sorry for you three as well. This is little cards that you can have at your workstation. So they've got the values and the why, how, what on them. Okay. So I'll get some out to you. What I want to just have a quick chat about is integrity. So when it comes to our values, the way that we show up, there's a part of me that thinks that I'm always in line or aligned with my values. Yeah, it's just everyone else. Okay. And if everyone else would get their act together, then everything's dead. So that part of me is not true. What's actually true is every day we take these little excursions off. jobs here. There's not enough. Not enough time. Not enough money. Not enough of something. It'll be okay this time. Yeah. So an example of that would be, we might have a conversation. I might start getting frustrated. I might just get a bit snappy. I could walk away. And something in me says, oh, that's not right. I'll keep walking. Or I can come back and say, sorry. Natalie. I can come back and say, Natalie, look, I'm sorry about that. That's not how I want to show up. What I've done is go off my integrity line, but I've become aware and close the loop. If I don't do that, I'll keep walking away. Every time I think about Natalie and that conversation, I'll feel it. That conversation might be swirling away in the back of my head when I'm going. My kids might be there going, hey, Dad, oh, I'm going, oh, going on with the conversation. So, you know, every time we do this, and this is normal human behaviour, when we go off our values, it's here. The most important thing is awareness. Again, comes back to awareness. And close the loop. That might be with a client who you know that the service that you gave them wasn't what you normally do. But you're hoping that it all kind of follows through. You'll live with that until you know that it got through or not. And it's going on in your head. What you could do is go, guess what? Hey, there you go. This is, you know, I didn't live up to what I want to do, the way I want to be, but we're going to sort it out. On reflection, you know, this is what I found out. It gives you another chance for connection. If we don't, this just keeps going. Every time we think about it, we do it. And there's just one more thing that we're worried about. So a classic example of this is everyone aware of the VW scandal that they created with software put in their cars that cheated on emissions. So in all their diesel cars, they put this software in the engine. Every time they were checked for emissions, it gave a false reading. Yeah. So that decision, so let's think about how that actually happened. That decision would have been made in a room like this. A bunch of people standing around. Some bloke would have got up and said, how happened? I'm sure one of EW's values wasn't left through the customer. He said, I've got this idea. Possibly no one, because of fear, around the table went, that's not how we do it. That's not what we do. They all might have gone, yeah. So they started from a moment and they went on this line. Way off in the text. There would have been plenty of time when someone could have said, that's not what we do. They kept going. That turned into, I think it's now 30 billion plus. 30 billion. From a moment where someone said, I think this is the value, no one has the courage to say.
So how do you say that to someone? Because like say for example, there could be, like say for example, if someone at work didn't align by our company values, how do you bring that person back in and go, well actually, no, I can be very blunt sometimes and go, well that's not what we stand for. So like how do you, like work with someone of a higher position to you?
Same conversation.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Somebody wrote that in there.
So, you know, I'm not saying that that's not, there's a lot of fear that goes on in that conversation. Everyone has had this conversation in the business. Okay? At no point did Daniel and Deb say to me, look, this is for everyone else, not us. We all need reminding. That's true for everyone. Yeah. And it's just pointing it out. I don't understand why we're doing that, because that's not aligned with our values. Simple conversation. There's a fantastic book. You may or may not be interested in rugby union, and the book isn't about rugby union, but it's called Legacy, and it's written by the All Blacks coach. It's amazing. What they did, because 10 years ago, the All Blacks couldn't win a game. They had great players, but they couldn't win a game. They came up with values, and they are relentless. No one is exempt from the values, and they are relentless. If their best player goes against the values, you're out. Doesn't matter. We might lose a game. Rather lose a game. If we don't say anything, you know, another scenario in that room is that no one said anything. Maybe they all just sat there and went, that's a yes. That's a yes.
It's hard to believe that. Well, it must have been a massive failure or something to get that ticket of approval for everyone.
You wonder. Whatever they thought they were going to say, you know, that's 30 billion bucks. Plus, that 30 billion was probably a year ago, probably more than that. Plus the reputation, plus. So this is, you know, this is where the values conversation is really important. And, you know, to be able to be, because we often worry about how will I have that conversation with others.
Yeah.
The one that I'm more interested in at the beginning is how you handle yourself. So the one thing that you can be sure of, your body will not like you. If you've gone off, you feel it. You know it. It's up to you how long you let that feeling sit into your body. One of the values is accountability. So the expectation would be, if I go off, guess what?
Yeah.
I didn't do, that's not how I want to be. So, both of us. With clients, with whoever, people appreciate that level of authenticity. Creates another level of connection. You're not just kind of winging your way through it going, oh no, but yeah, no, everything was fine. Okay, so Deb's not getting awesome. We'll send Deb some love and energy. Donna. Okay, let's have like a 10, 15-minute break. Conversation. So, Beryl, over to you.
Okay, you may or may not remember, in December at our workshop with Andrew, I brought up a case where one of our clinics, one of the co-owners had come down with ovarian cancer, but they were notoriously bad players, and how did I approach going to them? So I frantically wrote down some notes from Andrew, and as soon as I got home, I sent this letter to her, and it's got, hi Chris, I hope things are going as well as possible for you at present. I acknowledge that it is a tremendously difficult time for you and Christine at present, and would assure you that any support or assistance I can give you would be very willingly given. Unfortunately, as a company, DMK cannot carry About Me's outstanding debt. Between us, we really need to find a solution. In the payment plan I forwarded to you, 2 of the dates have already been missed, which would indicate this plan isn't working for you. Could you please contact me by Thursday so that we can discuss how to move forward? Within an hour, I got a response from her and $1,000 put in the account.
Wow.
The following $5,000 have been paid in full by now. So
well done.
what Andrew's saying really worked. Yeah, I was thrilled because I
Yeah. So, just to recap on what you actually did there was you acknowledged her. You acknowledged that there was a problem. You asked for what you need. You asked her if she needed anything. And you said, I'm here to support you. You did that in your own way.
Yep.
So, awesome. And, people do respond to that. Because you're not saying to her, look, you're terrible because you're not paying. It's when we get into that attack mode that people aren't going to respond. When we just clearly acknowledge, this is what I need, what do you need, I'm here to support. Awesome work.
Yeah.
So, try it out with the people that,
Well, the barrel?
So I wanted, given we were talking about closing the loop, I wondered if, you guys could think of any conversations that you might be able to have to close the loop. And if you're worried, maybe you need some support around how do you have the conversation. Because it's the fear of having the conversation that stops us. You may have experienced in your life, you've had this fear about a conversation, oh my God, that might last a week, 2 weeks. You actually have the conversation and you go, oh my God, it was fun. So, let's open the floor up to closing the loop conversations that you might know you have to have, but you might not be sure how to have them. Because I'm sure we've all got them, and it's just a matter of becoming aware. Sorry, one more thing before we do that. The thing that I really encourage you guys to do is, just as Beryl did, have the courage to have a crash. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It will feel like you're speaking a different language when you start asking for what you need. That's normal. That's completely normal. When you've done it 10 times, it feels less fun. When you've done it 50 times, you're like, oh, that's just what I do. It's a habit. So be aware that, when you find yourself asking for what you need, you're going to be observing yourself going, that's weird. Right. So are there any closing the loop conversations that anyone can think of?
I've got one with one of my accounts who is a distance away, and I give a lot to them in regards to I have meetings with them and try and get them involved to come to training, which is part of what their obligation is to us. So I get excuses all the time, and I can't seem to. I've tried to, and I probably communication how I've said it, in asking her, I need this from you. I said it months ago to her, probably before I met you last year. But again, trying to have that conversation with her again to make her realise in her accountability to ask as a D&K account that you do have to be working with me because I will drop back my level of service. Because I think regional accounts, and I think, every account, they could probably think, well, I spent X amount of money with you. Yeah. Even if I spent $500 a month to you, I still want to see you every month.
Yeah, and I want all your time.
Yeah, that's like, but you're not giving me anything. And again, it's asking for it, but yeah, I guess I don't ask for it in the right way because I can get very sensitive. So just going my way, I'm like, fine, I'm not going to see you.
Headlocks don't work, mate.
I'm going to drag you to the next round.
Yeah. So I think that's me that's doing that because, obviously I've got a job I need to do to make sure everyone performs. Because that's part of my role to D&K, but I'm not getting that from some of these clients that expect a lot from me. Yeah. So I guess it's very similar in that situation there. Is that what you're meaning by closing the loop, or are you meaning more along that avenue?
Oh, look, I think that's one that touches on both things. That's a tricky conversation to have with the client, asking for their accountability.
Yeah.
But it also feels like it weighs on you.
Yeah.
So it's something that you want to
I think that
close the
every
loop
day.
on. Yeah. And it's just
Yeah.
So, you know, the one way that you could approach that is to state what's true. You know, it feels like you aren't engaging in the way that we need you to. Do you know why?
I'd say that. Do you know why? Or do I know
Yeah,
why?
ask it.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
But then when you get excuses of, you know, if I say, this is what we need to do, she's like, well, I've just had a baby a year ago, and I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. And I think a baby occupies that much of your time. I think they sleep. So you're taking them, you know what I mean? I guess I'm wanting to make this account successful because it used to be $15,000 a month account for me. Now it's down to $1,500.
Right.
So I want that account to go back to its original. Yeah, and I guess when you've got someone, when you ask them, what do you envision your business to be? What do you want to be known for? And they go, I want to be known for beauty. And it's like, well, I'm trying to help you be known for sin at the same time, but you're not working for me to help you to be known for that.
So I wonder, asking the question, is this working for you?
Yeah.
Because it feels like it might not be.
Are they using other products?
No, it's just that.
Surely you said it had 90%.
Well, it's a new business owner. And when she took over a couple of years ago, I said to her, the demographic and statistically what this account used to be, it can be quite fruitful for you. Just not working with at all. I find, I don't know about you guys, but I head up with that fair bit.
Right. So I guess this is really, you know, putting the responsibility back to her. This is what you're creating. You know, I want to help you, but it feels like you're not open to it. Where do we go?
And then just that her come taking.
Yeah, I mean, because there's, you know, if you look at that, that to me says her business is going down the tube.
Yeah.
If she's selling 10% of what she used to,
Yeah.
how's she keeping the doors open?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's other things at play here for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's important for you to hold that boundary because you can jump in and try and rescue her, which you've been trying to do.
So, yeah.
But that just saps all your energy for nothing.
Yeah.
So it's time to go, okay, this is now your responsibility. It feels like this isn't working for a few reasons. Financially, dropped, you know, your engagement, not there. Look, have a think about it. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
If you feel like you've exhausted all the things you can do, what else can you do? Except give her the responsibility of the choice.
Yeah.
Because you could spend the same amount of time on someone who's engaged, wanting to build a business. So, yeah, that would be my approach.
Yeah.
Just put the ball back in her court. What do you want to do? It's not working for me.
No.
I have one account too. Like I get a new account, and then like what she said, I would tell them like what we need or how to support them. But then they say because they carry quite a student brand and also they are doing plastic surgery, and then they would say because BMK is not our main business, but then for us, BMK is our main business, right? But then they just take it not seriously. So sort of like I say, actually we should support each other, something like that. But then end up they say, oh well, when we are ready, I will call you. I say, you need to come for training, or we need to do validation for your therapist. And he say, yeah, once we're ready, I'll call you. And then after that, he say, oh, I didn't know that we need to follow all these rules, and then we're going to come for training and blah, blah, blah. If you're doing business like that, then just probably I can talk to your boss and withdraw the account. Because I say that if you keep, like, not all that at all, it's been like 4 or 5 months, not all that at all. And then since they get opening order, and then after that they say, oh, if you guys are doing business like that, then I talk to your boss, we just, because I say that if you're not keeping up the standard, then probably it's very hard for us to keep your account open.
Sure.
Then you say, oh well, yeah, end up he's a bit softer because I also hold myself to reverse and talk to him again, and then he also a bit, okay, well, when we're ready, I'll call you. But then since last, I think September or when they never ever call me, or sometimes I send them like email or text, no reply.
Yeah.
Then I just, okay, I just be like, how to say, put one side first and then focus on the rest of my work. But then I just stuck. Like I said, they performance. Like, because we have, like, we have target to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And then all my proposals, that's why I also don't know how to deal with that too. Like, just keep it, or okay, forget about that, close the account and then get another one, or because their business is in the city. Actually, it affects other clinics that we want to have. So that's why I was like, we're frustrated about that.
So it feels like you've already got the answer.
So yeah, but it's not my choice. Because it's not my choice to make it. So it's the boss. My boss say, okay, or keep it. But at the moment, I cannot do anything. I can just, okay, I still keep sending them emails, say, okay, our program on it is on, our Christmas pack last time is on, or what promotion is on, I just send them. But they never reply at all. Then, okay, you don't reply then, okay.
Yeah, it's an expression for a lot. We can only help those that want to help themselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets to that point where you want to get to the no.
Yeah.
Instead of prolonging the no, get to the matter.
Yeah.
You ask her, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
I would have a chat with your boss
Yeah.
and say, look, this is the story. There's clinics around there that want to join us and want to be engaged.
Debbie actually say, you know, Debbie. But then we probably want to give a little bit more time. Then I don't know.
So this is again a question for your gut. What's your gut saying?
Because they're very impolite. Like, even though we did the training there, the boss keep nagging the therapist. Like, they didn't, like, we make appointment, and then they, okay, me and then another our colleague downstairs, Anna, will come to with me and then have training. But then we book everything, first training at the clinic, just one day to turn up. And then all the rest just comes out, not really sit down and then really take it seriously. And then when we do the practical practical demo, then the boss was lying down like as the model. Then because I can speak Mandarin and Cantonese, so that's why they're Taiwanese. But then she keeps nagging the therapist. But then I know that. Obviously, she knows that I understand that, right? But she just in front of us just keep nagging her, saying the problem, and then so mean. If the boss is so mean, how will the therapist keep working for them? That's why the therapist kind of quite
Sure. Yeah.
quite fast.
Yeah. So that's a conversation to have amongst, yourselves, because it feels like, and we all do that. I notice myself sometimes where I'm, there's a door, it's firmly locked and closed with padlocks and bolts, and I'm banging on the door.
Yeah.
And I actually missed the ones behind me that are wide open. Because I've got my focus on banging on this door.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break it down. I don't turn around and go, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of doors open. So, you know, put your energy where it's going to give you, and it's not for me to say what you do, but I would encourage you to have the conversation about it. Donna's back. Donna, are you back?
I'm back.
How did you go?
She was really nice.
Oh.
So how did she respond?
I started, like, once I started talking to her, I said exactly what you said. I said, look, I'll admit it's a little bit awkward for me. The first time I meet you is over the phone, you know, talking over the phone. You know, I used to meeting someone in contact, and she in person, and she said, oh, I feel exactly the same. I was like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You're in.
And it was my yeah.
Sorry, you're just cutting out.
Oh, I said, and then she was my friend, you know, like I felt that we were friends, you know, just talking about organising, you know, dates to catch up, and it was easy. It was really easy.
Yeah. So that's a great testament.
I felt that she felt at the end as well.
Sorry, just say that again.
I felt that she was happy at the end, like that she got what she wanted to get out of the conversation as well. I felt like she was happy with the outcome as well.
Awesome. Great. All up. Yeah.
Good.
So that's a great testament to authenticity.
Yeah.
You know, it opens up the possibility for connection. If we're always fine and good, the other person's going to be fine and good, and we're not going to actually connect. You know, and remember, fine and good is actually the weather, not a feeling. There's a great example of this. A guy that I was working with, he imported excavators into the country, so it works in all different settings. And he had split up from his wife 6 months beforehand. He was fine, and then all of a sudden, bang. He rang me one day, about 6 months after he split up. Mate, I don't know what's going on. It's just hit me today. I feel like sad. I feel like angry, upset, all of these things at once. And he goes, and the problem is I've got a meeting with this possible client. What should I do? I said, I would be authentic. When he asked you how you're going, say I'm angry, sad, today. Don't know what happened, but that's what's going on. He's like, man, I can't do that. Okay. They're the options. Anyway, he got there and he sat down and the bloke said, so how you going? And he said that minute went, where he went, okay, which one? And he chose to be authentic. He didn't tell him the whole story, but just to how I'm feeling, my wife left him. And the bloke opposite said, I know exactly how you feel.
Oh, wow.
That happened to me 2 years ago. They were connected.
Yeah.
They were connected. If he had said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good, the bloke would have been sitting there going, something's not right. What's he sell? Dodgy machinery? Is he dodgy? The company dodgy? Something's dodgy?
Yeah.
He couldn't have given him the excavator. So, awesome, Donna.
Yay.
So there's nothing like a bit of clarity. When you get clear about, you know, this is what I want from this meeting, what is it that you want? Let's work out how we're going to do that. And you might even have a closing of, did you get what you needed from this? You know, is there anything that we haven't covered that you want? And even to be as direct as, did you get what you needed? Because then you're starting to get them used to your language, which is needs-based. So are there any other close-the-loop conversations that anyone can think of that they need to have and aren't quite sure how you might start it? Can you think of any? So yours is starting up.
Yeah, this is my fourth week.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's,
Introducing myself.
yeah. So that's, you know, again, I would encourage you.
Yeah, because I can come across a little bit, like I've been on my, that's how I'm meeting someone, I can be a little bit contracting, and it's more of a concept thing for me. It's just, the second time I'm fine, but my first time I'm a little bit fast. So I probably need to, again, that's probably be a little bit as well, but I need to probably in my head.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing to remember is it's okay to present that.
Yeah.
You know, it takes me a little bit of time
Yeah.
to feel connected.
Yeah. The second time it's fine, but the first time, you know, well, yeah.
So say that, you know, so that person isn't sitting there going in their story.
Yeah.
Doesn't she like me?
Yeah, it's not that at all, yeah.
So just present whatever's true. People really value that.
Yeah.
If you get to that honest conversation, it just takes me a couple of times, or, you know, I'm a bit nervous, I'm a bit shy, whatever.
Yeah.
People go, okay, I understand that, I get that. You know, it's fine. Someone once said to me, you know, I love and have grown a passion for speaking in public. I asked someone, you know, how do you do it when there are people? He said, just say what's true. And what he meant by that was, if you're nervous, get up and say, yes, I find this a bit nervous.
Yeah.
You've actually presenced yourself. And people go, okay, yeah, I would too. So there's a lot to be said just for being present. Letting go of the stories you've got from the last person you spoke to, or the stories that you've made up in your head about this person. I'm just going to show up. Step by step. When they ask me how I'm feeling, how am I feeling? Yeah, okay, I feel pretty good today. I'm excited about something, I don't know, or whatever. How are you? Building the relationship. Remember that at any point, if you feel that the relationship isn't going the way you want it to, you can have an awareness piece. This feels like it's getting a bit tricky. Let's go back. Let's align our expectations, because that's probably what's not happening. So you might take it, having that kind of conversation. The fear is, oh my God, they're going to leave. The experience might be they double what they buy, because there was just something holding them back that they weren't sure of. You have the open conversation. What are your expectations? You know, are we meeting? Have you got a close the loop conversation, Mark, that you would?
I have actually. So I did a massive pitch last week to these leagues for 350 gaming chairs, and I thought we had it. I'm just a little concerned now. So when I went in there, we sent the quote off, I don't know, Wednesday, and I was in there Friday. And she just had this funny look on her face, and I said, should I have brought you a brandy? Meaning, I know she said a quote. I said, should I have brought you a brandy? And she laughed. She said, no, I don't really drink brandy, but you could have probably bought me a rum. So, anyway, we sat down, and I've left a message today, but I don't know what to do. I don't know whether it's, are we in the ballpark, are we lost this, have we got it? Just to sit there and wait, or what do you think?
What's your gut telling you to do?
Well, I'll run today, so ring. I'll run, but gut to it.
So, you know, if you don't hear back, you might send an email. Follow-up email. Yeah. Just checking, is there anything more you need from me?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Because remember, you know, that it might be that there's something else at play, or it might be more probably that, yeah. And that's the bit that we forget. You know, when we're waiting on an email or a phone call, we're going,
Yeah.
oh, they're talking to other people.
Yeah, well, a little voice, don't have any, so, yeah.
And suddenly a day feels like 3 days. So, you know, it's really, okay, what's true? This person has their life. They're doing whatever they do. They're not sitting there thinking every moment of every day about me. No. I know, I think like that sometimes. You know, why haven't they answered? So all you can do is get on the phone and check. As you did.
Yeah.
Phone, if they haven't got back, email.
Tenfold. I don't like email. Because I like to talk to people face to face instead of just email. Sometimes it really depends on the person who read that and at the moment what her or his feeling. So let's say it's just general email, or then maybe she's very emotional that time, or later when she read it, not really in good mood, and she say, oh, very offensive, feel no good after reading that email. That's why I don't like email.
Sure. So we'll touch on that through the process. You know, what is the most effective way of communicating? A phone call or face-to-face. Always.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're sending a document, which is,
Black and white.
you know,
Yeah.
email is a secondary form of communication. You know, the way I like to think about email is if I'm using it to communicate anything, it's a summary of what we spoke about on the phone or in person. So, you know, what I understood was is that, right, to use it to try and tackle complex problems is a recipe for disaster. You're right. They might open the email and have just had an argument with someone. They look at this as, oh, this is an extension of my argument. It's got nothing to do with their argument.
Yeah.
And a phone call always gives you the opportunity to build a relationship. Emails don't build relationships, they just relay. Hey, how you going? Yeah, oh yeah, what did you do on the weekend? Blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. So that's something for you guys to think about. How do I most effectively communicate? So, you know, is it worth me sending the email, or do I just pick it up? So what I'd like to do, just to finish up.
Would you like to
Oh, it's okay.
PowerPoint? Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is just write down 2 things that you're willing to implement of the things that we've spoken about today. There's been lots of stuff that we've covered. Just 2 things
Could
that
you
you're
repeat
willing.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 things that we are willing to what, sorry?
2 things that you're willing to implement of what we've covered today.
Yep.
You've already done one of them, so Donnie, you've only got one, and Beryl, you've only got one. David, seriously, 2 things that you're willing to implement of the things that we've spoken about. Has everyone got their 2 done? Let's start with Donna and Beryl. I feel like we'll bring you in front and centre.
Well, I'm going to start with, I've just butted in, Beryl, by the way, sorry. I'm going to introduce the phrases. I think I just love it. Like, this is for my meetings, this is what I need, what do you need? And I even finished my last meeting with, I'm here to support you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then my second one was, I think when we're out on, like when you're out on the road or there's traffic or you're running late, I think that gets me in the downward spiral. And I think even if you get used to doing it, what's 2 minutes, to ground yourself, to make sure that you're present in the next meeting, like resetting myself before the meeting.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point there. Those 2 minutes are probably going to save you about half an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
And you'll enter really clean and clear. Awesome. Beryl,
I better do that.
Okay, mine too. Okay, mine, my 2 are be authentic, really rang true to me. And if I'm feeling frustrated or something with someone, actually express that. Maybe not say, you frustrate the hell out of me, or something like that, but at least be honest, and because they don't know how, or we both don't know how to fix something unless somebody knows that there is a problem.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is reflect on the day before I switch off work for the night.
Yeah. So that's a really important one, and I'd encourage everyone to do that. Set aside that 20 minutes where you reflect on the day. Don't judge yourself on the day. Just reflect. When did I show up in fear? When did I go into my 5-year-old? When didn't I ask for what I needed? What would I do differently? Maybe tomorrow I can pick the phone up and ask for what I need. It's not too late. Yeah. So, Natalie, how did you go?
I wrote the other one. Feel a bit nervous. And then I also, when I drive home, I'm a massive drinker. So when I'm driving home, all I do is think about everything that I've done.
Yeah.
So train my mind to be a little bit more positive and stop being sick, especially when driving for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we might as well use
Each way.
something
Yeah, each way.
rather than just telling myself how blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Who wants to go next?
Will stop the stories in my head.
Yep.
Yes, stop napping. And I will try to ask people more about what they want from me or what I can support them. Not just telling them what I need.
Yeah, so it's good, what it does is put the responsibility back to them.
Yeah.
I'm clear about what I need. How about you?
I had asked for what I want, what I need, to gain clarity, and
All right.
to try and start working and recognizing when you're assuming sensitive expectations, to gain more clarity around that, and then reset and ground daily.
Yeah. And it can literally change the day.
Yeah.
Because if we go into the fear space, everything suddenly crap, stress.
Yeah.
We can stop. I remember one day I did exactly that. I started off the morning, I didn't ground. It was a nightmare getting the kids out of the house. And the morning just kept going like that. And at kind of 11 o'clock, I went, maybe I should practice what I preach. Stop and ground. And I went, oh, okay, that's better. It was still busy, but I wasn't in that state.
Yeah.
So I had lots to do, but it was a different state.
Yeah.
pretty simple one, as you said. If in doubt, you know, whether it's email or call someone, call, or try and get in front of them, is better. Be authentic, so, you know, you sit down with someone, how's it going? Well, mate, I've had a shit morning, rather than, all good. And, which, you know, I just generally roll off, yeah, I'm good.
Oh, that's what we do. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good, but I'm not really.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
Yeah.
And just try to be more present, because I do drift, you know, I found it in today, I'm bringing myself back, so at least I'm doing that. Awesome. You know, I just drift, what am I doing? What am I doing at bed? And what am I doing? For dinner, you know, but try and be more present. So, yeah.
So the first thing, you know, that, and you touched on it beautifully there, but this is all about awareness. Okay, so if between now and next time, all you do is become more aware of the stories that are going on, the roles you're going into, you know, I didn't ask for what I need, but if that's all you do, that's awesome. It's just about awareness. That's the first step. If you're not aware of it, you can't change it. So I want you to develop that ability to just observe yourself. Not the one with the stick that beats yourself up. You're just observing. What am I actually doing? Any other thoughts or reflections before we finish up?
Well, it's just common sense, isn't it? You know, like, I suppose it's not, but well, it is. You kind of know, you know, you kind of know, your gut feeling. Your gut feeling. Go with your gut.
Yeah.
That should be up at the top there. Go with your gut.
Oh, we're going to cover a whole session on the gut. Because this is where the action is. Actually, where the action is our heart and our gut. The brain is pretty limited in what it can do. These are amazing. Our heart and gut. Like, full on amazing. So, but in between now and then, trust your gut. If your gut's saying to you, something isn't clear, guess what? It's not.
Yeah.
You don't have to go, oh yeah, but they'll work it out. Oh no, they won't. It's not clear. Ask them again. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Or if you're sitting there and you've said blah, 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 and someone's going, oh yeah, it's not that. And your body's saying to you, never happened. They haven't. So let's just go over it again, just so we're clear. I don't think you're an idiot. I don't think anything. I just want to be clear. Think about the amount of time you waste in a day because of a lack of focus. Probably a lot. That's normal human behavior. All we want to do is get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Beryl.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Online.
That's great.
Ladies online.
Bye. It's a new ally.